Hello, everyone. JDev, creator of the JDev Entertainment Network, has returned once again to give you precisely what you want, which, of course, would be more of me, because I'm in such high demand, giving you guys and gals that most anticipated Talking Cubs episode number 6. It's been a while, but I figured I'd talk about the Cubs, specifically the 2019 into 2020 Chicago Cubs offseason. But before I get into that, it's very important. If you're watching this video and you like the Cubs, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Share it, favorite, hit that sub button to be a part of the team. Make sure you click on the bell for notifications and alerts, and leave me a comment discussing this video, future videos you want to see, rumors, news, wishes that you'd like to see the Cubs do, anything. Just leave it in the comment section. I would appreciate it, and it helps the channel out. So typically, I would talk about Cub moves in the offseason, but we've essentially had crickets chirp with some minor league additions. Guys that will probably make the team, but they only signed them to non-guaranteed minor league contracts. But there is a rumor that the Cubs are looking at Steven Souza, but that's not official. What I will do is give you guys my top 10 first basemen, my top 10 favorite Cubs first basemen of all time, just because there's a lack of news. And actually, I'm going to fill this list up with every position on the infield and outfield and that, just to do it. So starting off at number 10, we have Hee-Seop Choi. He was our starting first baseman in 2003, at least at the start of the season, and then an injury caused him to miss the rest. He just wasn't the same after the injury, but it would have been great hearing Harry Carey say Hee-Seop Choi. So he could have been really good, but then that injury just made him, he wasn't the same after that. Number 9, we have a guy that only played one season with the Cubs, but I thought he was really good. He didn't really measure up to what he could have done in his baseball career, but that would be Carlos Pena. I do like him on the MLB Network. I think he's got some good insight, and I wish he would have been a really good player for the Cubs, and he wasn't bad, but obviously you were expecting a lot more out of him when we had signed him. So Carlos Pena is number 9. Number 8, we have a guy that was in first base in the 80s, the early 80s, would be Leon Durham. He was a good first baseman, did a little bit of everything, and I thought he was a good piece of the puzzle in 1984 when they got to the NLCS. Number 7, a guy that was an all-star for the Cubs, and most people forget about this guy, Brian LaHair. Unfortunately, Anthony Rizzo was on his way, and they wanted to shift Brian LaHair to an outfield position, and it just didn't work out, and then he ended up not playing and going to Japan or something like that. But I don't forget about Brian LaHair because he was really good at times, and he could have been really good for us potentially. But, hey, we got to go to first base now, so I'm not upset about it. Number 6 on the list, I put Eric Karros. He was kind of like the veteran guy on the 2003 team that got to the National League Championship Series, and he was a good first baseman. He hit good. He's a decent fielder for the Cubs, at least from what I remember. He was definitely good up against left-handers, which was a weakness for that particular team in 2003. Number 5, a guy that he wasn't really good defensively, but I really liked his offense, and we got him for next to nothing, and that would be Randall Simon. I think if we would have had the DH in the National League in 2003, he would have been our DH, but Randall Simon was good. He produced when we got him, and it's unfortunate that we didn't keep him longer, but I liked Randall Simon. Number 4, Mark Grace. Mark Grace, he did things that you'd think a first baseman would do. Like he hit really good average with, got deep into counts, but didn't hit a lot of home runs and didn't drive in a lot of runs, but got a lot of doubles and had a high batting average. But Mark Grace won't be forgotten as he was with the Cubs a long time, like 6-7 years. But he made the list at number 4. Number 3, one of my favorite baseball players of all time. Not many people know this, and he's not a Hall of Famer, which is really annoying, but Fred McGriff, who actually led both leagues in home runs, the National League and the American League, but apparently his numbers weren't good enough for the Hall of Fame. But Fred McGriff played the game the right way. I mean, he was with the Cubs in his later years. He wasn't super good at that point, but I still liked him. And I still love Fred McGriff. Number 2 on the list, a guy who we got for Hee-Seop Choi from the Florida Marlins back then, and that would be Derek Lee. Derek Lee put together some impressive seasons with the Cubs. It was really crazy the numbers that he put up. He was on another level with the Cubs. And he was with us for a while, but then he had to go. But Derek Lee will not be forgotten, and he was a damn good player for us. And he makes the list at number 2. And my favorite first baseman of all time on the Chicago Cubs currently, who knows if it'll still ever change, but Anthony Rizzo. I mean, this guy is a team captain. Rizzo is awesome. He does all the things necessary, chokes up on the bat with 2 strikes, drives in runs, hits home runs, can pretty much do it all. Feels really good. Anthony Rizzo, we won the offseason. It was at 2011 when the Fielder and Pujols were both free agents, and our lineup was heavy right-handed. I'm like, oh, we better sign Prince Fielder. I'm glad we didn't. We traded for Anthony Rizzo, and we haven't looked back. So there's the list. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you leave me your favorite first baseman in Cubs history. Obviously, I've only been a Cub fan since like 82, so my list isn't as long. I thought about putting Micah Hoffpower on this list, but let's be realistic. How many games did he really play for the Cubs? Not very many, but I remember the name, and he did some good things. So make sure you leave a comment. Hit that sub button to be a part of this team. Make sure you click on the bell for notifications and alerts. And, of course, good old J-Dad will be back again soon with another. Peace.